Hello, I'm Sister Bliss from Faithless.
It is amazing to have you here with us today. Can you talk about what makes both these awards and specifically this charity so special and important?
Well, Nordhoff Robbins has been doing such amazing work with people, and music reaches people who are otherwise almost unreachable. So it's a really powerful thing to have music therapy in your life. You know, whether you're an adult or a child, it's such important work, and you know, across the arts in the UK, it's been constantly undervalued and decimated. And Nordhoff Robbins brings so much value to the people and the families that they work with. You know, if we ignore the arts at our peril, because that is what brings a community, that's what brings connection and communication, especially if people are suffering, whether it's from autism or brain injuries. They work with people where other methods of therapy don't connect. And so it brings life to people for whom life has been shut down. You know, it's a very, very fundamentally important charity, and it deserves all the visibility and investment that it can get, because it's also a training ground. It trains up music therapists. They don't just come from other places and other universities. It runs its own training courses, so bringing these really skilled people to the next generation. So it's an amazing awards ceremony. You know, we are in the music industry. We've been lucky enough to go out into the world and earn a living from music. All the people that Nordhoff Robbins help, they're not going to make a life in music, but music touches them and enables them to connect and communicate. So to feel part of something where music isn't just about your own ego and you're going out to play your songs, it's actually such an important therapy in our lives. That's what Nordhoff Robbins stands for, that incredible ability to reach into people's lives and make them better with music.
It's safe to say that you're a fan of the power of music then? You've known that firsthand?
I am. I have absolutely felt and experienced the power of music in my life. That's the point of Faithless, that's the message in our music. And I know that if I were to ever have a terrible accident or an injury whereby I, you know, couldn't live the life that I previously led, I would want Nordhoff Robbins involved in my care, nurturing me with their incredible skill set.
Yeah, they're incredible. On a musical level, what are you up to now? What can we expect?
I've just come back from Glastonbury Festival, which was fantastic, and I did feel the spirit of Maxi, who's no longer with us. The whole time I was there, I was DJing and in the process of making a new Faithless album, which will hopefully be out next year. So still making lots of music, something to transport the mind and the soul and the spirit, I hope.
Is it as powerful as it ever was personally to yourself when you're on stage?
Yes, for me, the point of the music I make, it comes alive when I'm connecting with an audience. When you sit in a studio and you're on your own, you have no idea how people are going to feel, but you feel an absolute energy emanating from people and a love and a passion, and that's the reason. It comes alive, and I remember that I'm part of a community as well. As a punter, I was right in the middle of the crowds for loads of different bands, and also I was behind the decks as well, so I experienced both sides of it, and both sides are equally important. You know, I really am a fan of music first and foremost, and then all that inspiration, hopefully I draw it through my pores via osmosis and take that into the studio, and hopefully keep, you know, music that is beautiful and meaningful to people, has some sort of emotional reason to exist.
But when did you first realise that, you know, music would be my thing in life?
Really hard to know, actually. I fell in love with acid house, but I was always passionate about music as a very small child. I would listen very intently, and I would listen to things over and over and over again, so I had a very nerdy aspect to my personality, which might get labelled these days, who knows. I was pretty obsessive and still am. I think you have to be an obsessive to make a life out of music. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Who did you look up to for inspiration?
Oh well, having just done Glastonbury, I can say that Elton John was right up there in terms of, you know, the decades in which he's existed and brought pleasure and brilliance over and over again, and consistency, and anthems that touch a generation. And also bands like Left Field. The reason that Faithless exists is partly because of Left Field. I'm a massive fan, so that was one of the bands I went to see on the weekend, so got to see some of the greats.
Fantastic.
In terms of Faithless, can you just talk about how proud you are of the astonishing legacy that you've crafted yourself, and why it was so important for you to continue that, even with Maxine no longer with us?
I am proud of the legacy that Faithless has created, but I also feel it's always about the future. It's an amazing thing to have had a life in music and to have been important to people, and that our music has resonated, and especially because Maxi has died, the outpouring of love from the fans and what his lyrics meant to them. You can release hundreds of tunes and never have that kind of impact. To think that we are in people's homes and in people's hearts and in their lives, it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary to me. It's not really about the amount of records sold. It's the fact that people come back and recount the stories of how important our music was at various points in people's lives. It's like the soundtrack to people's lives. You know, you can't ask for more than that.
You can't. Thank you for sharing all of that with us.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for asking me such brilliant questions. You didn't even know I was coming. No, they were really good.